Hello, how you doing? My name is Moses Woods Jr. I'm 61 years old, will be 62 this year. I want to take the time and give you a little understanding about what motivated me to do the song, He Was Always There, because there's a story behind that song. The Lord took the opportunity to set me down for a moment and take me back through my past life, a lot of the things that I did and a lot of things that were done to me that I was not the, the one that initiated. And often during those times, I didn't see him there, feel him there, or believe that he was there. So he put me in a place and he set me down and he showed me every time he was there in that situation and how it was because of his desire and his will that I was able to come through. So when I was a child, about 12 or 13 years old, my mother saw me standing on the front porch and she said to me, she said, I see that there's a sadness about you and there's a disconnect between you and your father. And I know that that's where it comes from. He doesn't attend any of your baseball games, football games, and different things. And she said, I want you to know something. She said, Mommy loves you and Mommy has always wanted you. And I want you to know that. But there was a time in our life when money was tight. We already had 2 children and we could not really afford any more children. So we decided to use protection. And we used a condom and the condom burst. And voila, there came you. As a result of that, your father didn't believe you were his. He thought that I had went out on him and conceived by another man. So he was never really accepting of you. And that's the reason why he doesn't show much affection when it comes to you. And that gave me a little insight. But at that same time, my mother and father were always in conflict. I watched them brutally hit one another over the head with clubs and irons, and my dad coming home where he signed himself out of the hospital where she had stabbed him to leave him for dead. And as an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old, I'm seeing all of this, and so it's affecting me. And I'm sorry. And so during this time, my life took a terrible turn. I began to act out and I became angry and misdirected my anger. And I began to do things, stealing, lying, cheating, a whole bunch of things that I had no business doing. And as a result, I ended up spending 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, those ages. Every summer I was confined in a juvenile detention center or foster home. And then as soon as I turned 17 years old, I caught a case and I was tried as an adult where I was sent to prison for 3.5 years, where I was in a prison system with adults, career, lifelong criminals. So after coming out of that, still not really understanding where all of this is coming from, I still wasn't feeling good about myself or others. So I got out of prison and I went back to the streets doing the things that I did. I eventually got addicted to crack cocaine. And I had a $500 a day habit. I was robbing people. I went out one evening to commit a number of robberies and I was facing 160 years and I was guilty of all of it. But the Lord had mercy on me and I ended up getting a 25-year sentence where I ended up doing 10 straight calendar years in the prison system. I walked that down. I got out, and I was not using drugs while I was there. It was a forced sobriety. So you tend to think that you're over it. But then once I was out and I experienced some traumatic things, rejections from jobs and all of these different things, I reverted back to the drugs. So from 2000 to 2013, I battled back and forth and struggled with my drug addiction. Most people that seen me for a long period of time never knew that I was fighting this battle, but I was. Eventually it got out of hand. And I ended up moving to Kansas City, Missouri, where I went to jail down there in drug treatment in their prison system. And I came back home in 2007 and I ended up getting sentenced to 5 years and doing 18 months in prison. So things were really crazy. And then I moved away. I tried different cities, Dallas, San Antonio, Minneapolis, a lot of different places trying to run from things, but the demons were in everywhere I went. So finally, about 2013, I decided to check out this Jesus that I had heard so much about. I didn't believe in him because I had seen so many people that claimed to be Christian that were taking advantage of people in buildings, you know, those church buildings where the preacher was asking for your money all the time and living well, but the community where the church was built was run down, drug infested, prostitution infested, violence infested. So I really didn't believe. But I learned, something came across me and I learned, you know, the Lord spoke to my heart and told me, you can't let other people and what they do and say determine whether or not you believe in me. In order for you to know me, you have to experience me for yourself. And so that's what I did. And ever since 2013 to the present, I've been committed to the Lord. I met my wife here in 1977 over the summer. She was 13, I was 15. We spent 2 weeks together. And I got in trouble for stealing cars, and my uncle sent me back home to Davenport, Iowa, so I never had a chance to say goodbye to her. One day on Facebook, I had a friend request from her, and after 38 years, we had reconnected. And when I talked to her on the phone, the very first thing I said to her was, I apologize for leaving your life and never saying goodbye. She was home to tend to her mother who was ill, and I went back home to bury my mother who had recently passed. And we connected. I stopped in Des Moines and we connected. About 3 months later, 4 months later, she moved up here and we went down to the courthouse, got our license. 30 days after being here, we were married, and we've been married ever since. And we love the Lord. And God has brought me through so much. We're not multimillionaires and could care less if we ever become, but he supplies all of our needs, and he gives us the ability to be able to be there and reach out for other people. So my word for you would simply be this. He's always there, even in the midst, even at times when you don't think that he is. But it's hard for you to recognize him because you're not looking to see him. Stop blaming. Accept your accountability and responsibility for the choices and decisions you make, for allowing the people in your life that you allow in your life, and then begin to humble yourself and know that there is somebody great that loves you, and he is always there, and he will take and make every crooked path in your life straight. Me and my wife both, who was addicted to crack cocaine for as many years as me, and who suffered from stage 4 cancer and has been clean now for almost 18 years. Yes, God will do it. Difficult days of my life, when nothing was going right, because I'd done so much to hurt the one that loved me most. I hurt the one that loved me most, that they had just given up on me, like I'd given up on myself, like I'd given up on myself. So where do I go? Now what do I do? 'Cause it appeared that all was lost. It appeared that all was lost, but he was always
I'm talking about Jesus. He was always there. He was always there. I'm talking about Jesus. I'm talking about Jesus. I never recognized God being in my life, but now I know. Yes, now I know. He loved me so much that he wouldn't let me go. No, he wouldn't let me go. And now that I have it inside of me, I will hold on and never let him go. I'll never let him go. I'll never let him go. 'Cause now that I know, what can I do to let it be shown that I love you? I really love you, Lord. Oh, I really love you, Lord. You see me smiling, I was really crying, standing alone on that deserted island, conceived but not planned. The reason my pops was such an angry man, he never loved me, never hugged me, made me feel like the whole world had shoved me. Real is real reality, life was so dark, no wonder I couldn't see the whole while you were there with me. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me, equipping me, letting me be a part of your certain holy destiny. Jesus will always be there.
Actually, I have 3 sons that I don't have a relationship with, 3 grown children. As a result of a lot of the bad choices and decisions I made that kept me away from them. And so they don't have faith in me, they don't believe in me, and actually they don't have anything to do with me. But I love you. I wish I had the opportunity to share my life with you so that you would know that I do love you and how I regret that I was not the man then that I am today. I have 2 daughters that have preceded me and a son that preceded me 2 years ago. So I have 3 children that have moved on. I have 2 grandchildren that I know that are adults, and 3 great-grandchildren, and 2 other grandchildren that I have not been privy to be able to come to know because of the strain with my relationship with my sons. But I love you, and I wish I had the opportunity to be able to share who I am today with you. And I continue to pray that perhaps that'll come to be.